I gotta go faster. I gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Hello, my name's Fox Rangel, taking name at Fox, and I'm gonna talk about Sword Art Online. Mind you, if you should go somewhere deep in my library of videos, of 1,000-something videos, you will see that I did do a review of the original Sword Art Online animes and stuff. And I will say, if you do watch those, mind you, I now do see a lot of the things that are wrong with the series. And mind you, again, my favorite arc is probably the Gun Gale Online arc, even though that still has problems. But then again, it's kind of to the fact that it's, you know, Star Wars and has a lightsaber. And I'm just like, but you? But watching that stuff and then also playing Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, I was kind of interested to see what happened after the second season, which then brought me up to getting the very first anime short story I ever bought. I think they're called short stories, right? I don't freaking know. Sword Art Online Alicization Beginning. The first book in Sword Art Online, I think it starts at 9, so, you know, cool. But this is the first book of the third arc, which is what the third season is going to take place. I originally started reading the manga of it, but it only went up to chapter 7. I was like, well, fudge, I might as well just get the books and read those. This I think is the longest it ever took me to read a goddamn book of some anime figure on the front. Because that took me like, I don't know, 3 to 4 days. And a manga usually takes me about 3 hours. But maybe less, actually. But, like, I had a whole stack of mangas once, like, I bought for Christmas, and I finished all that within, like, 24 hours. But yeah, so, this is the newest Alicization arc. And FYI, again, Sword Art Online has some very serious problems, especially in anime form and stuff. And also, you know, like, the character who literally lives on epic coolness of himself, as well as the greatest plot armor ever to exist sometimes. But I honestly can't say I don't like this book, even though there's some things. But basically, what this arc takes place is that there is, which also explains the ending of the Sword Art Online movie, which I have not seen. I've only seen, like, I think Digibro review it with his brother, and like, and literally the only part of that, even though I did kind of like the final fight, and then Kirito going God mode with a god weapon. What I did really like was, in the end, it does lead up to that. It's going to lead into season 3 with this mysterious group called Wrath, and also how this arc is vaguely reminiscent of Alice in Wonderland, which is one of my favorite fairy tales. And heck, go check out Mirabili on Black Hood's page. It looks like, well, it's what we could do back then, but Hood tried his best, and we're probably going to come back to it at some point, but yeah, go check out Mirabili. But yeah, Alice in Wonderland, one of my favorite stories. So when I heard that, one, I didn't really know there was kind of a reminiscent to it until I actually read the mangas and then the books. But basically, there's this organization called Wrath who call Kirito in to test out this new full dive VR thing. But it turns out that after Kirito gets out of it, he doesn't have any memories of ever being in the VR thing. He just knows that he was in it, and that he was told that it was supposed to be super advanced. And mind you, okay, I read about 7 chapters of the manga, able to finish that within maybe, again, an hour or so. And mind you, I'm not saying I don't like a book that does describe some things, but here's the thing. The book, or the main story of this book, and maybe for short stories, again, maybe for short stories, this is a common thing because it's supposed to be put throughout multiple volumes, like similar to a manga. But when half of your book is a freaking prelude and then an interlude, there might be a problem. Especially since a lot of this I could sum down pretty goddamn quickly, and I'm about to. Reki Kawahara, check this out. Basically, Kirito explains how this new full dive works, basically saying that it doesn't send digital waves or mind things into your brain, but somehow is able to tap into your soul. Yeah, I know what it... Yeah, but here's the thing. Basically, all Kirito needed to say when he's explaining, again, in a bar with Asuna and Sinon, they're explaining in the bar, hey... Like, so what's so different about this new dive system or whatever? Other than, it takes your memories away. Or blocks those memories. It says that, basically, it's that they could tap into something inside your brain. Something that's supposed to be the soul of a human or something. It's the soul of your human. They call it a flux light or whatever the fudge it's called. They call it a flux light in the thing, but they say they tap into the very soul of your human, the part of the thing in your mind that's you, the real you of it. And it basically takes your memories and makes that a thing. Makes it like the world is completely and utterly detailed to the point to where it's basically to the point where in the story, Kirito cannot tell the difference if he's in the real world or a virtual reality world. Because apparently in Sword Art Online and other stuff, there actually is one lag. And two, if like, let's say I grabbed this phone, no, not this phone, but basically if I grab a leaf and brought it super close to my eye, it would actually take time for it to render. Which one, that is kind of a cool thing that the anime's never really brought up. Which I think is kind of a cool little detail. But yeah, so basically, yes, for somehow it connects with your soul in a way. And yeah, it sounds all mystical and magical in a sci-fi kind of thing, and it does feel out of place. It feels more out of place when he explains it, because he literally explains, like, in the book, it takes him 2 hours. In real time, it took me about 4 to 5 hours to get through that entire thing. To get that entire pages. But, because how they, basically, yeah, it sounds kind of strange how the thing can connect with your soul. And then they even, like, at least how I describe a soul is energy. If you're going to put it into like a story or something, it's energy. That's why like they say ghosts mess with lighting stuff. That when you put it into a story, I always see it as energy. In this, it's like little photon lights in your brain that pulsate and somehow store energy. And then like they try to use the internet to explain like, well, what would you say the internet is? And people will say, it's if you know what the internet is, and it did take me a bit to learn, but like it's the connection between all the different computers that basically builds the internet. It's kind of like when you put like a plank on top of another plank. A plank is, if two computers just connect, it's kind of like a bridge that just gaps these two computers. But if you put another plank on top of another plank that's connecting this computer and then that computer, but this computer connect to that, you build a raft. That's kind of what the internet is. And it probably explained the internet way better than they did there. Because in that one, they're like, yes, but what's inside the internet? It's like, data, you moron. Data is inside the internet. The connections between it. That's what makes the internet. Are you trying to find the digital world? Are you trying to find Digimon? No. Fudge, actually, it wouldn't be too far off from this, would it? But, so yeah. So, basically, they take a long time to explain that. Even though, like, in this, like, I'm going to use the manga as a reference right now. In the manga, Kirito just pops up in the bar where Sinon and Asuna are for whatever reason. And, like, Kirito says that, like, Wrath, which, of course, that sounds like the perfect, company to join up with. Wrath, he's helping them with the full dive thing. He's apparently getting paid good moolah. But, of course, they wipe his memory, or his memories are stuck within the machine. And Kirito's like, well, I don't freaking know what to do. He's like, well, I'm getting good money out of this. Asuna, but the thing is, like, he just pops up there and just starts explaining all of this, because, of course, we got to explain it all. And I even got into the prelude from that. I just wanted to explain the soul part real quick. Which one, I really did kind of like this, because it does flip between different characters at some point. Like, throughout this entire whole idea of, like, him explaining flux light stuff, you actually don't look, you're not looking at it from Kirito's point of view, you're actually looking at Sinon's point of view. And Sinon, FYI, Wanted and Star Wars are both within Sword Art Online, because not only did Sinon once say, man, I really like that gun movie you showed me where they curved the bullet. I'm like, oh god, Wanted's in this universe. And they even, like, kind of hint like, I don't know if it's going to be part of this arc, but I feel like Gun Gale Online is going to be part of the next Sword Art Online arc, which, fudge, yes. And I think that's the whole point, that they kind of cut that out of the manga, at least, but I did kind of like that little bit, even like the point where, Kirito says, okay, I gotta get good at using a lightsaber again. And Justino goes, no, Kirito, we can't call them lightsabers. It's called a photon sword. And I'm just like, okay, so Reki Kawahara is literally just saying, yeah, it's a lightsaber. Yeah, not saying he never did, but yeah, it's a lightsaber. Yeah, Mother Flubber watches Star Wars. But, so yeah. So that's a cool thing. But, basically the interlude, or the prelude before this, God, I should take lutes. No, fuck. I seen what it does in Wolf of Wall Street. But basically the whole beginning of this arc, or story, at least, begins with two boys whacking away at a giant tree in medieval kind of setting with a dragon bone axe, which is kind of freaking cool. Which I have an axe. It's not dragon bone. Okay, shut up. But yeah, so God dang it. Basically, they're whacking away at a giant tree, and like we do get a giant, like, enormous dump load of this kind of history of this medieval setting world, and it turns out one of those boys is blonde-haired, blue-eyed. The other one is Kirito. Which they straight up say that his eyes are actually black in the show or the book. So it just makes me think, like, okay, so apparently, like, history and everything seems to be kind of similar to, our time and stuff like that. So are there any, like, movies where, like, the demons have all black eyes? Because then I'm just kind of thinking, like, is that, like, racist towards people with black eyes then? The demons are portrayed as having black eyes? I don't know. But, these are the thoughts I have, people. But yeah, so Kirito is in this world, and apparently he says he's lived there since he's a kid. He's been there since a kid. And his friend Yu-Gi-Oh! His name is spelled E-U-G, what is it? E-U-G-E-O-U. Yu-Gi-Oh! His name is Yu-Gi-Oh! And if it's not that, I don't care. Because I just keep thinking, Yu-Gi-Oh! But, yeah, so Yu-Gi-Oh! And their best friend Alice, where they explain about this world, how it's the northern part of the kingdom of human civilization. That there's the god Solaris, the god of the sun, and god of Terraria, the god of 2D Minecraft. And how everyone in this town has their calling, which really is just a job. But I do like that they call it the calling because it sounds kind of cool. The calling, which is their job that they have to do until they're dead. And they get their jobs when they're 10, I think. I want to say 10. So Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh's calling is the tree choppers. They are the woodcutters. They cut this ginormous demon tree that took 3 generations. 3 generations. Remember, 3. 3 generations to cut about that much out of a tree that's about 20 feet long. Yeah, it's not that long. It's pretty goddamn huge. And apparently the tree even heals itself. But Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh! Also have their childhood friend, Alice. Who's blonde hair, blue-eyed, wears the blue dress with the little apron. Chase the white rabbit, Alice. So Alice and 3 are good friends. They have fun. They cut down the tree, talk about how they're going to die before they ever cut this tree down. Even though they say if the woodcutter is able to cut the tree down, whichever woodcutter is able to cut the tree down, they are then able to choose their next calling. And all 3 of them apparently are great swordsmen, but none of them were picked for it. And Alice is apparently super good at the the sacred arts, which turns out later on is Control-Alt-Delete. Or commands in a similar fashion. And they have, like, status windows that show durability. So it's basically kind of like the world of Breath of the Wild, because everything has a durability on it. That's your life. That is the items range of durability. Clothing have durability, that's it. And, like, they bring that up like a little view screen, but they say it's magic. Which I do kind of like. Again, technology does equal magic to some older times, but yeah. But yeah, so basically, the group all goes. Their lunches are about to expire every time they come because of the summer heat. So then Kirito decides that because there's an ancient legend that if you keep following the river upward where this one night went, that there's a dragon there and there's a bunch of ice. And Yu-Gi-Oh says, this is a bad idea. There's a dragon there. And Kirito's like, it's fine. Alice goes, it's fine. Because those two really wanted to go find the dragon. And they go all the way up. They go all the way. They basically take a day off at one point. Go all the way up to this cave. They find this cave, and it's strange. Like, wow, it was really easy to get here because like it's like literally like a 2 to 3 hour like run. So it's like, wow, yeah, really easy to get here. I thought this was supposed to be like the end of the world because the world of humanity is surrounded by a giant like wall, like not walls, mountain terrain, giant mountain terrain. But yeah, so Kirito, Alice, Yu-Gi-Oh go into this cave where they then find out that the dragon is dead. And not only that, they find an awesome blue rose sword on the ground, which is a beautiful looking thing. And I'm just thinking, pick that up. Pick that up and take that. Because that is the coolest thing that I say. Like, and Breath of the Wild, even though because you find these same weapons like almost everywhere, that was kind of a cool thing that I wish they like a lot of games kind of have where you can discover just a sword in the stone. You're just like, yes, please. I don't know. I just love it. As you can tell, I freaking love swords. But yeah. But apparently it's too heavy, which I'm like, F, it's too heavy. All three of you pick that sucker up and go. That'd be my future sword. I figured out how to wield that. But then it turns out that there is a kind of a thing where it's kind of like a class thing where it's like, oh, you can't pick it up because it's not your class or you don't have the strong enough strength stat. Which that is later on explained, kind of. And also, they found out the dragon's dead. Someone killed it. And again, but then they get lost in the cave. Like, which way do we go? So they actually go the wrong way, and they find out that beyond they know because of like their Bible, which is the taboo index, which is a set of parameters for the system or whatever. That on the other side of the mountain, there's the land of darkness where the god Vecta lives, and it's scary. And like the sky is blood red. There's like ash on the ground, and there's like a demon dragon with a demon rider fighting a white knight and a white with a white dragon. Alice accidentally basically falls, scrapes the black dust. A little window pops up that goes, "She did that." Disappears. And basically, next day, Alice basically gets binded up, which in the manga, they make it like, how they bind her up, it looks like freaking like I'm just like, please don't do that. Because it's like a little girl, like 10 years old, and they bind her up bondage style, and I'm just like, please don't do that. Like literally shackles, or maybe just like showing like her just tied up from the front would have worked fine. But, yeah, they go like full detail in the background. But in any case, as she's about to get taken away, Kirito basically tells Yu-Gi-Oh, we gotta save our friend. And Yu-Gi-Oh's like, I can't. He's like, come on, Yu-Gi-Oh. Kirito runs up with the Dragon Bone axe. He's gonna cut the dragon, or the integrity knife as they call it. The system basically Tron. If anyone's ever seen Tron. Then again, I just thought about Starland Abridged.
How many of you have seen Tron? I was really banking on that.
But in any case, so yeah, Kirito tries to go, but Kirito gets grabbed by like the townsfolk. Yu-Gi-Oh has like a thing in his eyes that say cannot disobey or something like that in his eyes, showing that Yu-Gi-Oh is some kind of program, of course. And then that's when we kick out. Then we get kicked out into the whole bit I talked about earlier because I wanted to get the boringer stuff out of the way, kind of. And then basically back to that interlude, which I want to get the boring stuff. On their way back from the bar, Kirito finds out that the third member of Death Gun, which they thought was maybe, Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. Kirito talks about Wrath, how he was contacted to work for Wrath by the guy who told him about Death Gun in Gun Gale Online, who was supposed to be, a government official, But then it turns out Kirito doesn't know what that dude's job is at all. What his position is, what he does. He has no idea. So all I'm thinking is, okay, so you're telling me some random dude came up to Kirito, said he was part of the government. Maybe he is part of the government. I don't know. But said he was part of the government, said, I need you to stop this death guy. This death gun dude. And then later on, you're just like, oh, yeah, maybe I should have looked into him a little bit more before I took his job or I could almost died. But yeah, so basically the third member of Death Gang pops up. He's like, well, Kirito, you're the Black Swordsman. I'm Zaza Black or Red Black Eyes or Johnny Black. And I'm going to kill you. Ha ha ha. Goes, takes that injector that basically stabbed that little plastic thing last time that kept Kirito from dying from poison. And Kirito gets stabbed in the arm. And Kirito literally takes an umbrella and stabs the dude in his freaking leg. And the dude's like bleeding out. And I'm just like, oh, that guy's dead. That man is dead. Johnny Black, whatever the fudge his name is. Yeah, he's dead. He stabbed him through this. He probably like cut like an artery or tendon because he stabbed him like an umbrella, like a big metal piece. Stabbed it deep into that dude's leg. Oh, he's dead. He's gonna bleed out. At least I'd assume. But probably cut like a tent. Yeah, that dude's probably dead. But yeah, then Kirito basically starts passing out. Asuna has like a little thing that like uses heart monitor because Kirito has like a little strobe that's connected to it, his heart or part right that checks his like heart pumping and stuff like that, his heart rate, and it's connected to her phone. She looks at it and sees that his heart beat just goes 0, dead. And of course Kirito then wakes up in the fantasy world and he finds Yu-Gi-Oh! But the thing is, Kirito doesn't remember any of this because this is Kirito Kazuto, not Kirito the woodcutter, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't recognize him. And basically, it is kind of like the whole, like, dropped into a fantasy setting. Even though I do like... Because, again, I did like a lot of this. And I really do hope some of this translates into the anime when it comes out. Because there's one point where Kirito... Again, there's a whole thing where Kirito explains, like, how when you look at something in the VR world, it takes time to render if you bring it up close to your eye. Which makes sense. It sounds more like a video game, which is kind of cool. But in this world, it doesn't do that. And... the whole idea is that, again, because it's connected to your soul through your brain or whatever, that everything looks extremely realistic. Though there are those exceptions like the status windows and stuff. But there is this thing. Kirito basically in a forest. He's like, okay, I'm either in the real life or VR world. I can jump off a tree and kill myself, but if I'm in real life, I might die. So he's like, okay, maybe I should try not to do that. Because he can't log out either. But, so Kirito basically... Kirito feels like he's thirsty. Which, again, I love this part of the book. Kirito feels like he's thirsty. And, I also forgot to mention... Sorry, in the beginning of the book, the reason why Kirito goes to go see Sinon and Asuna at, like, the Dicey cafe where that one guy who praises weapons works outside of VR... It's because Sinon wants him to join her on Gun Gale Online again for the next Bullet of Bullet. So, probably the next Gun Gale Online arc, which would be awesome. But I want to see more of that world. That's why I like the game. But and I want to see Alicization arc in the game. But Kirito, basically, he's lost. He doesn't know. He has to go through like, okay, I probably shouldn't try killing myself right now because I don't know what this world is. So, he goes, and apparently he's really thirsty. But then he hears a water stream. He hears a stream of water. I love how in the book he says it. Like he says, I then yelled, water! Like W-A-D-A-H. Like some freaking moron. Like some dude who didn't have a grasp on English just goes, water! And I'm just like, oh god, I want to see that in the anime. That seems so amazing. And basically, the whole thing is he reunites with Yu-Gi-Oh! Even though they don't remember who each other are. Kirito, what's his face? Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still hacking away at the demon tree, the giant freaking cedar. Hacking away, and nothing is coming of this. He's basically doing no damage. And again, it is kind of a similar story where, like, and even Kirito brings it up. He's like, oh, maybe I'm in another world and I'm going to walk out there and I'm going to find a princess, and, but I don't have my bronze sword, beginner bronze sword to fight with, and I'm going to have to save the princess, and it tries to be self-aware a little bit. And honestly, again, I do love this story. Because, again, basically, Kirito is slowly trying to figure out if this is a VR world or if this is the actual world. And after he sees the status screen, it's like, oh no, this is VR. But now I just need to find an administrator who's probably somewhere, probably in town maybe, who like keeps track of everything that happens in this VR world. And again, like they even say that Kirito says that the soul translator, or the new dive thing, that it's may not be needed or be used for video games. And like what it's really for, he doesn't know, and that's kind of the main reason why he's kind of like also doesn't want to kill himself immediately when he dies, or when not even when he dies, when he's in this world, because he's like, okay, I got to figure out what the fudge is Wrath kind of up to, because something's kind of off here. Because he notices things like that the NPCs don't act like NPCs; they act like just people. And again, like the easy way to say is that the soul translator kind of can make a soul almost, because they explain that later on too. And basically, Kirito hangs around town. He helps Yu-Gi-Oh with his calling, chopping down the goddamn tree. And Kirito does kind of come immediately, because they show like the durability of the tree. It's like, oh, it's 230 something thousand, and Yu-Gi-Oh's only able to knock it down like a 0.001 a day from hitting it 2,000 times. But Kirito immediately thought like, and I thought this immediately when they showed that, when I'm like, okay, that means you need a better weapon to cut the tree down with. And Kirito goes, yeah, we need something better to do this. And Yu-Gi-Oh goes, hold on a minute. Goes, brings out the blue rose sword, which is super heavy, to both of them, including Kirito. Kirito's like, whoa, fudge. And this then later on, basically they try to cut the tree. They try to cut the tree down and show that it knocks it down like, was it Kirito who did it? I don't know. I remember they picked up the sword, they swung it. Yeah, they swung it, they hit it, they hit the tree. It turns out it took it out one full point on like the thick bark instead of hitting where the cut was. And Yu-Gi-Oh says, wow, maybe I could actually use this to cut through it. But for some reason, they both can't wield the thing because it's so goddamn heavy. And then Kirito finds out it's because the priority level of the sword is, or it's a holy relic also, it's a priority level of the sword is, let's say 50, and their priority level is 20. They need to, level up, but Kirito has no idea how to do that in this world because it's not supposed to be a video game. So he is confused. And again, I like kind of like a little bit of the world building a little bit, even though they like kind of just dumped it all in the beginning of the book. And it was like, okay, really? And it apparently, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh's character, even, too, I kind of like. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! goes... And if someone's screaming, like, his name's not Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm going to keep calling him Yu-Gi-Oh! For obvious reasons. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically, apparently, he's been always mopey and sad in town. And always never smiles in town because he feels bad for letting Alice be taken away. And basically, he has his own recollection of what happened that day, but instead of it being Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh, it was all Yu-Gi-Oh who tried to save Alice, but in the end failed and was stopped by the taboo index or whatever. But Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh basically then decide like, oh, well, maybe we can try using this sword or whatever. And Kirito basically says that he needs to leave this town to go to Centauria, which is supposed to be the center of the continent or whatever, because there might be a system administrator there so he can talk to or probably figure out more about this world. But, of course, he can't go alone because he doesn't know the terrain or the mapping or anything about this world. So he needs a guide. So he thinks, okay, I can bring Yu-Gi-Oh with me, but this guy won't leave until he gets his calling. So I got to figure out a way that we can cut down this tree quickly. And, of course, he thinks a sword, but the sword's too heavy, so he thinks, that, okay, we got to find some other way to do this. And, cut to a little bit later, the church that Kirito's staying at, Alice's sister lives there, but she's not as good as the sacred arts, the magic, as her sister was. But she wanted to know how why Alice got taken away. Kirito says, oh yeah, she wanted to go and touch, Yu-Gi-Oh told me, she wanted to go touch the black sand or whatever, and of the Deadlands. That's another RPG. She goes, Deadland, huh, okay. Next day, she's gone, immediately, because of course, she went to go touch the goddamn, the thing. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Kirito try to go just, oh, hey, how you doing, guys? Yep. So they're out of town, like, son of a bitch! And just dart all the way there. You get a little bit more how the system works, that everything is based on durability. Even, like, people's life is durability. And let's say if you overexert yourself or something like that, that could lower your durability sometimes. Healing. But yeah, so stuff like that kind of happens. And Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh! Run all the way to this cave where, again, as kids, they saw this dragon. But Kirito doesn't know that. And they go into this, the cave, and it turns out there's not a dragon there anymore, but there are goblins. And Kirito's like, it's goblins. Level 1 monster, fucking easy. And then the goblins look at him, smile, and he's like, oh, these guys can think. Which, again, I forgot to mention. The whole thing that makes Kirito really want to figure out what the fudge is up with this world is because, again, I think I said it, each of them seem to have some kind of cognition. They seem like actual people instead of just an NPC with certain, like, tree dialogue. And, like, he's like, oh, these suckers can think. And then, of course, starts a whole battle of Kirito with Yu-Gi-Oh! And, like, they ran 2 goblins, grab their weapons, and start fighting. They're kind of, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of getting hurt, but they're using, like, this light to weaken the goblins that they have. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Knows some of the magic, which, again, like, he says something like, System Control, Alt-Delete, or some crud like that. And Kirito's like, oh, you guys think it's magic, but it's really just, system parameters or whatever. So, Yu-Gi-Oh! They fight. Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Kirito almost gets hurt because, like, he gets, like, sliced on his shoulder and he's like, ha! That didn't! Oh god, this game hurts. He falls down in pain. Yu-Gi-Oh! Runs up, protects him, gets slashed across his entire body. I also forgot to mention, Selka, the sister of Alice, is tied up in the back. Kirito, of course, pulls up his anime awesomeness and goes, and FYI, again, this is so kind of over the top, but it was kind of amazing reading this, and I'm just like, you know what, screw it. It's so kind of over the top and fun. I kind of liked it, even though it kind of gruesome too. But Kirito basically gets up and goes, you're not gonna hurt my friend! Has sword, runs, and just goes, and one uses a sword skill from freaking Sword Art Online at one point, but then just goes, shing! Slices off the dude's neck, head flips through the air, and in any other thing, where it's like, okay, what's gonna happen is the head's gonna fall, land on the ground, and all the goblins are gonna, and get scared. No. He runs, cuts the head off. They describe it in the book. The head flips through the air and lands in Kirito's other hand, and he goes, do you want to... He lands in his other hand, like, head, and just goes, do any of you want to go? Basically, that's basically what he says. That's the part I'm probably paraphrasing. And the goblins go, what? The goblins go, oh. And one of them goes, I think I can. Kirito just lops off his head, too. And then it comes, Emmett, we're gone. Just leaves. And I'm just like, oh my god. That's amazing. Which I also find kind of really funny because a couple things. One, Kirito basically theorizes, and basically he says, like, the reason why, like, he does protect Yu-Gi-Oh! And doesn't let him die is because he's like, he turns out that he believes that everyone who exists in this world has a soul. They have a soul, but that they each and all have a soul. Most likely, they took a newborn baby, scanned their flux lights, and then copied it so many times to then create all these quote-unquote NPCs who actually have souls. And so he's like, and again, Kirito seemed like he didn't want to become, someone who murdered a bunch of people in Aincrad, but he is all too good killing off monsters that he even straight up says, oh, they have souls, and just straight up murders all of them. Which, yeah, I get it. Monsters. But if you're gonna put that towards humanity, you really should put humanities who are supposed to be, oh, we're so big because, a lot of religions say like humanity is the only one who have souls. I don't believe stuff, but in that one, it's just like, no, everyone has a soul. So you just straight up murdered some conscious being. Even if you want to go with the whole thing, like, you're not killing animals, whatever. Again, I still eat meat, but like, you can't kill it because they don't have consciousness or whatnot, or a certain consciousness that humans have. It's like, no, these goblins have that, and you murdered them. Basically, hopefully this doesn't cut out, but basically, he saves he saves Selka. Yu-Gi-Oh's bleeding out, and Yu-Gi-Oh, while in his delirium, basically says, Kirito, and basically says what he told him before Kirito lost his memory, that they were all born on the same day, and that Yu-Gi-Oh, Kirito, and Alice all agreed that they would all die on the same day. And Yu-Gi-Oh's starting to die. Kirito has no idea what's happening. He's like, what do you mean by that? Selka, the mage or whatever, she's like, I can't heal him with my magic unless we do a thing where I take some of your soul energy and my soul and transfer it into him. So they basically start doing that. Kirito almost blacks out until two hands grab him from behind.
I need an adult. I am an adult. No, you are not.
And basically, a voice that he never heard before but has heard before says, I'm waiting for you guys in the Central Cathedral. Come find me. Because it's Alice, of course. And they have a nice... This thing's about to cut out, so hopefully it doesn't cut out right now. But where's the picture? Basically, it's a nice little thing, which I kind of like. The glowiness of Alice coming and saying, you guys need to live. Basically, yeah, Alice says, come find me in Central Cathedral. And he's like, and Kirito, of course, goes, yeah, all right. Basically, they leave. Yu-Gi-Oh is healed. Kirito is also healed. And basically, the next couple chapters, they say that, Kirito, that Kirito says that his level up, that he actually did level up beating that quest, and that's probably how the system still works like an RPG in some sense. Yu-Gi-Oh is apparently a lot stronger too as well, and that both of them can actually not only wield and also, what is it? Selka, Alice's sister, is actually more stronger in her magic as well. Kirito basically says that the Dragon Boat Axe is apparently a lot lighter now, which I kind of like the idea of the game logic is that okay, you can't pick up this weapon. Why? It's too goddamn heavy for you. But now that you're leveled up, oh no, it suckers freaking lift easily. But yeah, so Kirito picks up the axe. He's like, okay, that's kind of cool. All right, or the axe goes, all right, this is way light. Let's use the sword. And what is it? Yu-Gi-Oh saw that Kirito used sword arts, or sword skills. And Kirito says that, yeah, he learned the Ironclad style, because of course. And basically Kirito teaches Yu-Gi-Oh how to use some of those skills, or the horizontal chop with a sword, and they use that to cut down the tree, which I would have kind of liked, and I hope in the anime or manga they kind of boost that up a little bit more, because it would have been kind of cool, just doom, doom, just cut the tree out, even though it was kind of funny, where they said oh yeah, we cut the tree, we heard the sucker start to fall, and we're like, what the fuck? It jumped out of the way as it slammed down through them over the air, oh crap. Because the sucker is huge. That is a huge goddamn tree. I can freaking find the map, because they even have a little map, which again, I do kind of like, because I was referring to that. Basically, that's the ginormous freaking tree, and that's the town, so you can assume humanity is about yay big. On that map, at least. But yeah, so the tree goes down, they're like, yeah, we did it! You also, I'd rather mention, there is some funny stuff, at one point, Yu-Gi-Oh's buying them some bread, and Yu-Gi-Oh's like, yeah, I get this money from when I make, for cutting down the tree from, the city hall or whatever, and Kirito's like, Yu-Gi-Oh's like, yeah, it just keeps piling up, and Kirito's just like, that means we're gonna have money for our travels. And I'm just like, oh, you freaking a-hole. You were just straight up ready to go ready to say, yeah, you're gonna pay for everything, Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, so, they chop down the tree, they have a party, yeah, Kirito, Yu-Gi-Oh! Cut down the tree, yeah! what is it? Yu-Gi-Oh says that he wants his next calling wants to be a swordsman, as he has the blue rose sword on him, and says he wants to be a swordsman, and he's gonna go to Zacharia or whatever and learn to be a swordsman, and that way he go to Centauria and become become the knight or whatever, become a knight and save Alice. But the sword man at arms, the guy who's supposed to protect the village, it goes, "You can't do that because I'm the man at arms and I have to do that first pick." And the village and like the dad's like, "Yeah, he has to do it." And Yu-Gi-Oh's like, "What the fuck?" The village elder goes, "All right, fine. Well, how do you want to figure out who should go?" And Yu-Gi-Oh goes, or the guy goes, "Hey, we should have a sword battle." And it's like, okay, I know where this is gonna go. And Yu-Gi-Oh's like, all right. And Kirito basically goes, okay, don't hit him, because if you do, you're going to kill him. Because it's like apparently a god's weapon is what this guy has. The blue rose sword is made by the gods. And he was just aim for the sword, everything will be fine. And he's like, okay. Takes out the sword, of course. The two duel at each other. The guy's like, sees the sword. He's like, oh, I'm going to die. He's like, if that's not your sword, you shouldn't use that. And he's like, no. This is my sword. I took it from the freaking thing. You know that fairy tale that we always talk about? A fairy tale in our country and stuff? The Excalibur, they're Excalibur almost. Yeah, I have that. They go, swing swords. Yu-Gi-Oh, of course, chops that dude's blade and it just shatters, which they explain that sword is a hand-me-down. It's the only sword that they have in town. So that just makes me question, did he just break their only defense against goblins? I don't know. But yeah, he puts the sword away. Everyone's like, yay, he's going to go Zachariah or whatever and go save Alice. Well, they don't say that, but that's what he's going to go do. Kirito's like, yeah, now I can finally, get this sucker rolling. Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh start heading out the next day. They got I think they got new clothes. I'm not sure. No, I don't think they did. They just got some food and stuff. But as they're going, the old woodcutter's sitting there by the tree and goes, come here for a second, boy. And he goes, you see this tree? I want you to cut this top part. It's the point that's absorbing as much power from Solace as possible. The sun. You need to cut it in one stroke, unless it's probably going to break. And Yugi goes, I can't do this. And Kirito's like, all right, I'll do it. Sharp! Chops the thing off. And, it's, again, all these, I forgot to say, the branches of this tree are stabbing to the ground, not even breaking. The old man wraps it up and gives it to the kid and goes, here, take this to the swordsmith in this town, and he'll make you a great sword out of that. And he's like, really? Okay. He puts it around his back. They head out. Yu-Gi-Oh has a weird feeling that maybe something about twin swords, he feels like he shouldn't take it. But he's like, what am I afraid of? Takes it, they leave, end of book. And again, the book, I like this story, kind of. It is kind of, it's cliched a little bit with, classic tale. Even though, again, the thing that changes a little bit is, the durability factor of the items. So that it's in a VR game. It's what is happening kind of from this. Even me, first reading a little bit of Wikipedia about this, where they talk about, it's about, the soul of a baby, kind of, or the brain of a baby, soul of a baby that they copy multiple times. Even when I part that part, it's okay, but what is really the point of all this? I know there's a little bit of what's supposed to happen, but I'm kind of, off put. I don't know. Sorry, I'm keep looking at the little screen thing because I only have 2 minutes left, then I'll probably have to switch this out again. Crap. But yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. I want to read more, and I'm probably going to go buy the next book if I have enough money. But, yeah, that was it is kind of a story that I kind of want to see how it goes. It's very loosely connected to Wonderland. Wrath is probably something from Alice in Wonderland, which is apparently a turtle pig or something, they say in the book. In this, and I get it, on the moon, rafts, outplay, with the Cheshire Cat sings. But, it's just okay, that's, so, obscure to Alice in Wonderland. It's weird. The world, I also forgot to mention, the world at the VR world's called the Underworld. Which, at first thought, okay, the Underworld as in, death. But it turns out, no, the original manuscripts for Alice in Wonderland were Alice in the Land Underground. I'm just wow, you're really stretching, because, Underworld usually means hell. But, you know, whatever. But yeah, like, I really kind of do like this story almost. Because one, a couple of things. Like, the whole part where Yu-Gi-Oh! Started remembering who Kirito was from their past. I did kind of like that, because there are some, like, I guess, cliches that can hit me, like, right there at that sweet spot. And it is kind of the emotional, we forgot who we are to each other, but slowly those memories are kind of coming back kind of thing. Or on the flip note of that, it's something like I would have freaking loved if at some point when Yu-Gi-Oh! And Kirito were, and again, like, Kingdom Hearts does this a lot, like, it's the thing that either can make me super excited for something, or even, like, super teary-eyed or sad about it. It's like, in Kingdom Hearts, in the newest trailer, if you haven't seen it, basically at one point, a character is inside of Sora's heart. And then there's a character that one person inside Sora's heart remembers and sees, and Sora says that name, and it's just like, what? Like, he has no idea. Or the same thing in 358 over 2 days, where Riku, Sora's friend, tells Roxas, is nobody, man, I was stronger than you, or something like that. Man, Sora, you've gotten weaker. He goes, what are you talking about? He's like, wait, what the fuck did I just say? It's stuff like that. That little bit of, there is that one other person still in there. Someone who's still in there. And I've seen that through multiple times where, like, the memories are gone of a character, but there is that still inkling, that little small bit of consciousness still in there somewhere. And I love that. And this one did. And I would have loved if at some point Kirito would have broken down and be like, you should have helped me save her! Or something like that. Like, something like where maybe he did get the memories, and again, like, you should have helped me save her! Or something like that. And just seeing them, like, crying as they started trying to remember who they were. And it's freaking great. And, like, there's a whole thing again, like, about, like, it's kind of played, like, they say, like, a dream, which, again, another thing can connect with Wonderland. That it's like a dream inside of, the whole VR thing kind of is like a dream, and, like, they can speed up your time by, like, so many. They can get only by 3, so, like, if, like, let's say you stay in the thing for a day, you stay there only for 3 days. But in Kirito's time, it turns out that since he was there as a kid in that last time you did this, they probably made it to where, like, if 1 second is, like, a year or something like that in this world. So it is like, what? He's like, okay, I am now screwed. Something along those lines. He's like, oh, okay, so is that why, like, so I could have been here for the entire year, and, like, I would never have known, and whatever. But yeah, like, it is kind of cool thing, and then, like, there is the whole thing that Kirito even says, even though they try to wave it off, but I kind of still hope, like, it's still going to be something brought up, because Kirito basically says that, like, what if he's actually dead, and, like, this is his soul inside the computer, or that his soul is part of the computer right now. That's kind of what I'm kind of... They try to wave it off later when, like, he kisses a girl on her forehead, saying, like, he would never do that because he loves Asuna Yui so much. But on the flip note of that, I'm kind of, like, hoping, like, I hope that will be brought up. Like, we don't know if that is the actual Kirito. For all we know, he's a fake. For all we know, this is actually a fake Kirito. Or maybe his body did die and somehow his soul transferred over to the thing that's, you know, close to his consciousness. Who knows? I like this. I like this story. I want to see where it is going to go. Again, there is that whole bit of, like, again, and I'm not even joking, like, in the manga version of this story, this chapter 7 ends... Oh, that was my bookmark. But, chapter 7 ends about exactly here. This is, like, the exact image that it, like, freaking ends on almost. But, again, that's more than half this goddamn book. And that's almost like just explaining about soul lights and stuff like that. I like, it's like, this was the hard, like, almost the hardest bits to get through was the whole, just, like, dump of information that they gave us, the entire, like, dump of it. But once it got into the actual story of it and back into this world from the outside world and stuff, I actually kind of started liking it a lot more. And I wanted, and I want to know, and like that's when like I was just reading through that stuff like crazy. But yeah, that first half was just, oh my god. But I like this. I do like this. I want to see where else it's gonna go. If there are gonna be any more references to Alice in Wonderland, because again, it really doesn't. It's like vaguely like a part of referencing Alice in Wonderland. Like, I'll give it at least credit. Alfheim arc, even though, again, there are some things that are very bad about that arc. That one talked more about, or whatever they're in Alfheim, they do talk about more Greek, or not Greek, Norse mythology and stuff like that. Like, Alfheim itself is the land of fairies in Norse mythology. So, like that, I'm just like, okay, that's a little bit more of a connection. This feels more like, okay, it's just a fantasy settlement with bits of references to Alice in Wonderland, and that the main girl's name is Alice, that they're trying to save. But, again, it is kind of the classic hero to save the princess story, which, in a sense, I'm not really that much against, because, again, it is kind of fun seeing that kind of cliche again, but in a kind of new setting. And I would like to see, they could play with that a little bit more as well. I don't know if they will, but they could, and I really do like it. And heck, this thing made me kind of inspired to like try to do my own kind of stuck in a video game kind of thing, which will hopefully be up on DeviantArt at some point, and maybe I'll make a Tumblr page for it. I don't know. I've never done this crud before like that, but yeah. So stay on the lookout for that. I kind of like this. I don't know if I'm going to do this for all of the books. Maybe, but I don't know. The 9th book is the first one I picked up, and I really do like this. Again, I do like that, another cool thing is, Kirito basically does say, like, oh yeah, I'm fucking terrified a lot. It's never that he's just the, you know, the Jesus Cuttin, the guy who, like, never gets scared, never does this, knows how to do everything. You know, it's more along the lines, he's like, because I guess maybe because you can see more into his head with this one, it is more along the lines of, no, I'm freaking terrified. Even though, and of course, in the end, he is the one who gets the final blow. And I was happy that Yu-Gi-Oh was the one who cut down the tree. But then it also makes sense for Kirito to cut down the top part, which will eventually become, you know, a weapon of his. But yeah, I like this story. Tell me what you guys think. I probably shortened the story down for you. It's probably like 40 minutes or something. I kind of narrowed it all down again to that. I would say to check it out if you like Sword Art Online. If you're iffy about it, maybe check it out. Maybe you'll get a little bit more out of it. I don't know. But, and again, like, a lot of that first interlude and stuff like that was kind of just like, oh yeah, well, in the beginning of our set up the world, even though they could have set that up more naturally than just telling us all straight out, which would have felt a lot better and better paced. But other than that, and like, again, the whole thing where like they're referencing what's probably going to happen after the Alicization arc with the Gun Gale Online, it is kind of like, okay, I like this book and I want to keep reading more, but yeah, by that point it's just like, eh. And as soon as I got to the main story, I'm just like, okay, I'm really liking this now. I really am liking the story. But anyway, tell me what you guys think on the things for watching movies. I've done links are on my face description around there somewhere. And give me YouTube. We will. See you later. And FYI, I love the durability system in Breath of the Wild. It makes you freaking fight with different weapons and makes some fights very, like, you know, paced. Or, like, fast-paced and scary. So, yeah, I like that stuff.